piano a long time. It's part of the image. And I got to say, early on, I was in college trying to make up my mind whether I wanted to go to law school or get into music. I'm having a whole lot more fun now. I got to tell you, early on, I wanted to be a guitar player. I was really into the guitar, man. I said, I'm going to be a guitar player. Guitar players are always so cool. Guitar players get all the solos. After the show, guitar players get all the girls. So I'm going to be a guitar player. Yes, sir. Came out on the stage in Atlanta, Georgia. Just the guitar and me. Got to talking to the folks kind of the way I'm talking to you right now, and I put my guitar down. Let me tell you, I was never able to find that damn thing the rest of the night. So right then and there, I decided.
I'm a little bit of ball cap, little bit of pearl snap button down shirt. A little bit of big city concrete, but a lot more small town dirt. I can see your pretty eyes reading me like a map, wondering who I am and where I'm at. I'm in between Friday night wild and quiet Sunday morning, between done after one and keep on pouring. Hey, too high, hey, too low, just holding down the middle, steady as I go. I ain't all holy water, I ain't all Jim Beam.
You're listening to your source for trusted intel and news. You're listening to Live with DC. You are listening to your source for trusted intel and news. You're listening to Live with DC.
Hey there, it's your favorite president. You need to be listening to my friend DC. He's a trusted source and won't lead you astray.
Thank you for listening to You Host DC, your trusted source for intel and news.
Let's get ready to rumble.
All right, everybody. Hopefully everybody can hear me today. If you give me I believe our chat is open on YouTube. Those on YouTube, if you want to give me a thumbs up. If your audio is coming through today, that's great. Hopefully everything's working. And we're going to get started here. All righty. What a day. What a day. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. And it's a good day to be alive, right? Right. It's a good day to be alive. So anyways, we're going to get into this. Sorry for the past couple of days. We've had technical difficulties. Hopefully we got them resolved. And I do have some questions that were sent in. We're going to answer those. And good. Thank you so much, Candace. Appreciate that. Loud and clear. Good deal. And those on the EIOBN.com website, thank you for listening. And we'll get started here. But man, this past week, I had one email come in and says, man, you just tore up this past week with just the Kamala Harris and that whole thing. Yes. And here's the sad news, folks. Here's the sad news. I'm not going to let up. I'm not going to let up. We got too much at stake. Too much to actually, there's too much at stake here to just always turn a deaf ear and a blind eye and to not address these things. We as Americans, we have the right to free speech and the right to just say how we feel and not take it personal. And that's what I do. But at the same time, I'm going to take my time and use my voice and my platform to address these things. But anyways, but I just wanted to jump back on here and kind of take off from where we was at yesterday. Of course, tonight I will be live, and tonight will be kind of different. There will be I'm going to do a whole segment on from number one, from prior to Trump being voted as president to up until this point here. And it is very, very good, everything that's together. But we're going to get back to Tim Walz. Tim Walz, the VP for Kamala Harris. We're going to touch on that. And I've kind of been going through some of the current events going on. And the UK government warns you better think before you post. Think before you post. So their social media, the UK government is now starting to filter and ban certain things. And it says UK government warns, think before you post amid threats to start arresting citizens for offensive or rhetoric on social media. That means their freedom of speech is about to be, there's not really freedom of speech there, but is about to be pulled. And if the Democratic Party had their way, we would be in that same boat right now. We would be in the same boat where we would be trying to, or they would be trying to arrest people or put people away. And you're like, oh, that's just crazy. There's no way. Yes, there is a way. And yes, they would do it if they could. They could. But, the UK government is starting to just crack down and starting to warn people, hey, do you realize how quick, if I was in UK, how quick I'd be shut down? I'd already be I'd be sitting in a jail somewhere. But, we can never get to that part. That's why our vote counts so much. And it counts so much. And we have to have our freedom of speech. And the far left would say, well, we don't like what you're saying. So therefore, since we don't like what you're saying, we want to shut it down. That's the reason why we have this whole platform here at the EIOBN.com network. We are not governed by them. They cannot touch us. We could say what we want to say. They can't touch us. They may be able to infiltrate through YouTube or Rumble or something like that. I don't know. I really don't care. But as far as like what we're doing on the radio, can't touch it. Can't touch this, right? Wasn't that what MC Hammer said? But anyway, but yeah, you got your freedom of speech being taken there, and it's only the beginning, guys. It's only the beginning. There's so much going on in the world. You got Israel is playing checkers. It says they're playing checkers, not chess. And Ukraine and Russia and all this stuff going on, and you got Israel getting strikes on. They're striking Hezbollah, terror targets into southern Lebanon. You got all these different things going on, and we can actually listen to everything, and just be so overwhelmed by it all that I just can't deal with this. I just can't deal with this. And I do know people that are that way, that can listen or see the news and go, oh gosh, I'm just so overwhelmed with it. It's easy to do. Here's the thing. There's other shows too, but in my show, you will be given a lot of information that you won't be given on other people, because they're scared to death to do it. I'm not scared to death to do it. And then the second thing is you personally can take what you hear here and digest it or not. That's up to you. And here's the other thing. You have to, once you get information, learn from it, and don't just have a bunch of information. I just got a bunch of information. That's it. It does no good for you guys that have been to school to go to school and to learn all kinds of stuff and never use it. I used to say the same thing. I'll never use this math. I'll never use it. And boy, have I used it. I'm good thing I paid attention in school. And same thing. This is a school of, a little bit You got to learn from it, digest it right, and not take it personal. Except when they start taking your freedoms. Yeah, it's not Rumble for some reason. It's not uploading, so it will be later. Then there's a delay in them or something with the software. But anyway, but I'm gonna get back to this. So Walt's signed into a bill. Now I want you to understand. We talked about him yesterday and talking about being the VP pick and how, you know, he's horrible. He's just horrible. Which I'm not sad because I don't like Kamala. You know, I'm not sad at all. But it still repulses me that people will stand to listen to this guy knowing what he's done. And here's the thing. People that will support him, these are the kind of people that they are. But Tim Walz signed a bill into law that allowed babies born alive during late-term abortions to be left in a separate place or a separate room to die crying, alone and scared. And these people will stand up and cheer for this guy. And, of course, cackling Kamala. That's crazy stuff. That's just insane. I mean, if you would vote, even if you were a supporter of her and you voted for because with him being on the ticket, I would have a problem with that. I wouldn't do it. That's like being a stinking monster. I mean, seriously, that's a monster that would want to take those babies and that's just unreal. And here's the thing. These people that really support these platforms that these politicians are standing on, I wonder why they have children. If they're so supportive of abortion and so supportive of this stuff, why do they even have children? Why didn't they just do what they preach? You know the old saying, practice what you preach. But you know what? And I told you this program is going to give you stuff that's you're not going to hear, but it's the truth. But wait to hear what Tim Walz did. And there's actually this is actually a true statement here. I mean, this guy is, he gets up and he says JD Vance is weird. This is a guy that signed a bill to put tampons in boys' restrooms. Listen to that. He says JD Vance is weird, but this guy, Walz, he gets up and he says, JD Vance, he is weird. He is so weird, unlike me. But yet this guy, Walz, is the one that signed into law to have tampons in a boys' restroom at school. Also, he's the one that says you gather in large numbers in a church. We simply don't want that happening. And during COVID, he was trying to put people in nursing homes. He's a lunatic. He is an absolute lunatic. So if you don't believe what I'm saying, you can look at this. West Point Daily News, August 30th, 1995. For those of you with weak stomachs, you may want to plug your ears for a second. But West Point Daily News, August 30th, 1995. This is an article about Kamala Harris's VP, Tim Walz. Tim Walz hospitalized for over-ingesting horse semen. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Those of you on YouTube, give me some thumbs up or some hearts or something. But Tim, you know, he's an adventurous guy, I'm sure. And boy, he's a fun-loving guy. But he was hospitalized for over-ingesting horse semen. Are you kidding me? People, these guys that are in front of us, some of these guys are just barbaric lunatics, and he's one of them. He's one of them. That's why I would, if Trump came out and put somebody like him on his ticket, I wouldn't vote at all. I'd be just like, I'm done. Because at some point, you have to stand up on some principles. You have to stand up on some morals. You have to stand up on something, or you're going to just waver to everything and anything. I'm one of the articles I saw, it says, can someone explain to me why any women would vote Republican at this point? This is a Democrat writing this, John Collins. And of course, somebody responded back to him and says, hi, I am a woman, which your party can't even define, which is absolute truth. I am voting Republican. Now, this is a Democrat telling the Democrat they're going to start voting Republican. I am voting Republican because Harris and Walz are communists. They support the redistribution of wealth, killing a baby at 9 months. They want the open borders, less law enforcement, war, and are completely godless. That's what we have. I wish everybody would come out when they would come out on their stage, really, really throw it out on the table. Poof, just lay it out. What do you believe in? What do you believe in? But we're so scared. We're just so scared of calling them out on the carpet. We're scared of that. But when a Democrat is saying, "Hey, I think I'm going to vote Republican," it's not a bad thing. It's just kind of like, wow, it's a scratch your head moment when you got this happening. But you got the same guy, this Walz, during COVID, he didn't want people in large numbers, none of that stuff. And if you were caught, he actually had a 800 number that was set up that if you saw someone getting together that wasn't 6 feet apart, then you were to call that number and report them and they would be dealt with. No, thank you. No, thank you. That whole party is ludicrous, just absolutely ludicrous. And this election is so important. It is just so important. It is so important that that we know everything. And the thing is every time I see Kamala, every time the news does a small snippet, because she won't sit still to do any kind of being questioned or anything. She always says, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let me tell you something. You've had 4 years, Kamala, to talk about that. And you've not done a daggone thing in this country except divide it again. True story. If you've had 4 years to do absolutely nothing, what makes you think we're going to give you 4 more to continue to do nothing and be in charge? I'm going to play a little snippet here of cackling Kamala. And I'm going to play a couple snippets here. Good stuff here. This is her talking about how everybody needs to be woke.
We have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
We're all a little bit more dumber because we just heard that. Absolutely crazy. She makes no sense. Makes no sense. And here we go. Here's another one. It's just fantastic here. Let me get this up here. Unreal. Unreal.
Woke. And you can
Just
talk about
listen
if
to the
you're
whole
the
thing here.
wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Everything woke. Everything woke. It's true. Everything woke turns to shit, okay? It's true. Look at what's happening.
And he's got a point, guys. These people got to be woke. Got to be woke. All right, let's go on to some more dumb comments by Kamala. Get them to come up here. This is just crazy stuff here.
And everyone else, that is called Bidenomics. That is called Bidenomics, and we are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working. Yeah, go ahead and clap.
What is so funny? What is, I mean, I'm serious. What is so funny? I don't get it. She opens up her mouth and starts that cackling. Our country does not need a comedian. Our country needs a leader. And those of you that like it, great. Those of you that don't, fantastic. I will continue up until Donald Trump goes in the White House to slice and dice at the Democratic Party. And I said I would play this the other day, and this is actually Kamala again, actually at one of her rallies, and saying, anyways, and somebody just heckling her. It's funny.
Where every senior can retire with dignity. A future with affordable housing, affordable child care, affordable health care, and paid leave. A future where we build a broad-based economy where every American has an opportunity to own a home, to start a business, and to build wealth. And understand, in this fight, we are joyful warriors. Because while fighting for a brighter future may take hard work, we all here know hard work is good work. Hard work is good work. We believe in a future where we lower the cost of living for America's families, so they have a chance, not just to get by, but to get ahead. Because look, while our economy is doing well by many measures, prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it, and I know it.
Our economy is doing
When I
well.
was Attorney General, I went after price-fixing schemes. And when I am president, it will be my day one priority to fight to bring down prices, to take on the big corporations that engage in illegal price gouging.
The big corporations that actually pay her and pay Joe Biden is what she's saying. She's full of crap. She's full of crap. Just absolutely full of crap.
Take on corporate landlords that unfairly raise rents on working families. To take on big pharma and cap the cost of prescription drugs for all Americans. That is the work we will do together. And all of this to say, unlike Donald Trump, I will always put the middle class and working families first. Because Coach Walls and I know the middle class built this great country of ours. And when the middle class is strong, America is strong. And look, as we move our nation forward, Donald Trump intends to take our nation backward. Just look at his Project 2025 agenda. Project 2025. And please do check out Project 2025. Because I'm telling you, it is a plan.
She is so full of crap. Project 2025. She's so full of crap. And she's giving you all all these reasons, and I'm playing this for a reason. She's giving you all these reasons to vote for her. And we had this with Donald Trump. So that tells me that when she is actually, she's actually campaigning for Donald Trump. If you want all these things, we had those things. We was going in the right direction. We had our economy going in the right direction. Oh, but CNN, I saw oh my gosh, the Communist News Network. Don't believe their polls. They're going to lie. How many times does the American people have to be lied to by media before we start believing that they're liars? How many times? I got friends, personal friends, that I'll say, hey, do you know blah, 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 blah? This, I don't know. I haven't seen her on the news. You're not going to. You're going to see what they feed to you. And she gets up and acts like the Project 2025. Long story short, because I'm not going to play the rest of the clip. Long story short, she's got someone there, and they're yelling Trump, Trump, Trump. And another thing, let me just tell you this: you hear all these people chanting her name. Okay, you got all these people chanting her name. Kamala, Kamala. And I do know for a fact that these sound engineers, they're giving music, specific music to play at these events. And also it's like watching an old time TV show. Let's talk about Happy Days. Remember Happy Days? Old TV show. Got the Fonz on there. Yeah. And it says film before a live studio audience. The audience is there, but there's what they call sound clips that are played. When there's certain points of a script or certain points of a word that is said, they push in the laugh track, is what they call it. Laugh track. Push it in. People laughing, and the natural audience goes, oh, ha, 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 because people are led by what they hear. Same thing with this. They should be using a laugh track because she's a joke, but they're using these, and people are falling for it, thinking that. All right, so let's go. Let's go to the project. She brought up Project 2025. So let's hear what this guy has to say. This will help you out.
We need to go find out where they live, where they go to church, who they hang around with.
Let me say something here. He's talking. This guy. He's talking about Project 2020. He's talking about people that are Republicans, or people that, let's say you're not a Republican. Just say somebody that voted for Trump. That's who they're talking about here. This is who they're talking about here. We'll roll back here because I want you to hear what he's got to say here.
We need to go find out where they live, where they go to church, who they hang around with, and bird dog their asses.
$393 million.
All right, I got something for you. Those people that feel that strongly, that are in the Democratic Party, that feel that strongly, that they want to come find out where you go to church at, where you work, where you live, and harass you. Let me tell you right now, any of you that's listening that that would be listening that are not for this agenda that we're pushing here. If you want to take on that mindset and come to my door, you will crawl back to your car. If you come to do anybody harm, you're going to get your butt taken care of. This show is not about violence, but it's about exposing these people that openly. Do you not think for a moment, if someone in the Republican Party did a thing and stood up and says, we want to find out where all you Democrats live and all you people that support Kamala, and we want to come to your church, we want to come, you know what? That is the message that they're giving. It is not about unity. It's about being, if you're not with us, you've got to be thrown off the edge of the earth. You're no good. You're pathetic. Oh, God. And my message to them is this. Come knock on our doors. Come to our churches. I dare you. Come to our churches. And you try to disrupt inside of a service and see if your butt doesn't land out. Do you understand that if anybody comes in your church, this is a federal law here. Federal law and state. In every state, it's this way. If someone comes into your church and disrupts what's going on, do you realize that's a felony? That's a felony straight off the bat. Because, and do you understand that if we get the Democrats in there, these are things that probably, I'd say 90% of you listening didn't know. You didn't know that. But do you realize things like that can be wiped out to where it becomes legal for these lunatics to come up in your place of work or come up in, all because you didn't vote the way they did, or you don't believe their same agenda, or you may not like how they dress, or Lord have mercy. But here's what I say. I'm not about violence and that stuff, but I'm about protecting my own and my own livelihood. And if you come up on my door or you go up on my neighbor's door, I'm going to go over and help my neighbor, because that's what it's about. It's about being unified. And if the unification of people can come together and say, listen, we're not about violence, but we're not going to put up with that stuff. It amazes me how the Democratic Party, they have the rioters, they always get bust the illegal immigrants in, bust them off to go protest everywhere, pay them, I mean, seriously, it is I wish the Democratic Party would completely be dissolved, because it is such a division in the country. And there is parts of the Republican Party that have it too, so don't try to slice me up. There is parts of the Republican Party that have it too. But man, 90% of it is the Democratic Party. And if you're a Democrat and you don't believe that way, then you know what? I would suggest to you moving, changing it. Or you know what? If you don't want to change it, I just wouldn't even identify with it. I just wouldn't do it. That's just me. But people want to harp on that Project 2025. And Trump said out of his own mouth, he goes, I don't know what the hell they're even talking about. I'm sure he knows by now. But I mean, but at the time he was like, I don't know what they're talking about. Because it was not about him doing this. It was not about him doing this. This is Kamala again. Remember yesterday I told you about J.D. Vance going up to her aircraft and looking at it and saying, hey, I just want to see this because I'll probably be riding in it in the next 2 months. This here is exactly what I was saying when Kamala, she can never give a straight answer.
Are you open to more debate? I'm happy to have that conversation about it.
I am happy to have that conversation about that. That is always her answer to everything. A leader will give you a direct answer or will challenge that with more. A leader that always says, well, we'll talk about that. We'll have a conversation about that. When they say we'll have a conversation about that, that means I don't give a rat's ass about that. It means I'm not interested. That's what that means. So they ask her again, are you going to do more debates? Well, I'm happy to have that conversation about that. That means I have to go see my handlers, see what they say, see if they will let me do anything. Because she is not running this thing by herself. She is just like Joe Biden, which we haven't seen much from him because, you know, he's supposed to be the active president, but we don't hardly see him. We see this hyena out there on the field. It just it just baffles me. Absolutely baffles me. Of just all the stuff. I'm going to play a couple more clips here while we're on this Kamala thing.
People who are convicted in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, on death row, people who are convicted of sexual assault, they should be able to vote?
I think we should have that conversation.
Oh my God.
It is wrong-headed thinking to think that the only way you're going to get communities to be safe is to put more police officers on the street.
Where do you stand on defund the police?
Look, right. So here's the thing. Defund the police. The issue behind it is that we need to reimagine how we are creating safety. We're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct. That is correct.
Okay, you heard it out of that horse, her mouth. Well, defund the police. She's been behind that. But she sure does want them when she goes out traveling. I wish law enforcement would just turn their back to her. Turn their back. Also, if you're a rapist and you're in jail, guess what? Congratulations. Underneath the Democratic leadership, you get to vote. You get to say who's if you're a rapist in prison. Wow. Wow. Unbelievable. This is someone that's trying to run us, lead us in this country. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here for you.
There are reports that say that you have the lowest approval rating of any vice president.
Well, there are polls that also say I have great approval ratings.
Swing voters don't like Harris. How big a drag is Kamala Harris on the ticket?
She's a pretty big drag. I think she was arguably Biden's worst political decision.
They don't like her. There's lots of reasons they don't like her.
Kamala Harris's approval rating is now at 28%, which is an historic low for any modern vice president.
We're hearing it from mainstream media, one outlet after another, one leak after another. That Kamala Harris is the worst vice president ever, the worst politician ever.
We don't see the vice president. What people are saying to me, and I'm sure they're saying it to you, where's the vice president? Some White House officials are feeling that she came off looking unprepared for inevitable questions about when she might visit the southern border.
We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't
hear that?
understand the point that you're making.
The point that Lester Holt was making was obvious to anyone else who was watching this interview, which is that the issues at the border are inextricably linked with the portfolio that she's been given.
The border is secure. We have a secure border. Bidenomics is working. Prices have gone up. And
listen to this wisdom.
Families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more. And we have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up.
He picked Kamala Harris to be his running mate. She was ranked and is ranked as the most liberal senator in the United States Senate. So he could have gone the other way, but he went to the left.
Joe Biden is running for re-election, and I will be his ticket mate. Full stop. Full stop. That's it.
Wow. What a... Yeah. I mean, the wisdom that just comes from her is just unbelievable. Anyway. Yeah. Wow. I mean, and here's the thing is about 50% of that I was playing you was Democrats talking. Was saying that about their own party. This is a former Democrat. I probably won't complete the whole thing, but former Democrat Jade Gillen, and she's been a diehard Democrat up until now, and this is her.
My name is Jade. I am a former Democrat. Unlike Kamala Harris, I'm an actual real-life Black woman. former Democrat who is currently registered Republican. I stand here before you today because I'm tired. I'm tired of the Democrats using the generational trauma of my people to garner votes.
She's talking about the black people, guys, African American. Okay. I told you this the other day. The Democratic Party has been the greatest slave masters ever. They have. People just got their head buried in the sand and don't want to see that and don't want to acknowledge it because, oh, it's taboo to acknowledge that. Anyway.
They invoke fear. They tell me I'm oppressed. They tell me I'm less than. They tell me I'm not good enough. And they tell me that my white brothers and sisters in Christ are my enemy. No. They are not.
Why is it that every time we come to an election, it's never about what one candidate can really do for the other? It always becomes a race baiting and a race accusing game. It always turns into a black and white issue. It's never about our economy. Trump has been the only one, guys, that stepped up and said, hey, our economy sucks. Everything needs to be, some things need to be done. But you understand what's happening here. Kamala Harris and that Democratic Party, they're running the race off the backs of the black people. They depend upon the race to win. That's why they throw it out there. That's why they're throwing it out there. Always between blacks and whites. Let me tell you something. I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap with your black, white, Chinese, Japanese, dirty knees, Mexican, whatever. I don't care. If I'm in the hospital and I'm dying, I need a blood transfusion. I don't question what type of blood it is from the person. Is this from an African American? I don't care, because life is in the blood. How about let's have an election if we all bleed red? Now let's worry about our country. Let's figure out what our country needs. Let's get our country back together. But we're too daggone sidetracked upon who's black, who's white, and who can give us more votes because of the race. And it's pathetic.
As a follower of Jesus Christ, Ephesians 5:11 tells me I must expose the works of the enemy. Amen. And the enemy is telling me that don't worry that I can't pay my bills, that I'm working 6 days a week this week and I'm tired. And I went to school and I have a career. I'm doing worse under this administration than in Donald Trump's administration, but I'm told to be afraid of a man who made my life better.
Yep.
How does that work? Make it make sense. During COVID, I knew more of my white guy friends that lost their jobs than me and my black girlfriends. We are the same in this country. All these Americans want the same thing. We want safety. We want prosperity. We want peace. And the Democrats keep going back and look, check it out, right? I honor my ancestors and the people who fought for us to be in this room here today. No one is discounting what my people went through, but honor them by getting past it and invoking forgiveness in this culture. I'm so tired of being told I need to be afraid. I'm so tired that I need to be told all the time that I have to vote for the Democrats who have done nothing positive for my life at all. My life is totally worse than it was during the Trump administration. Yet I kept having, you must vote for the Democrats. We're told this as black people since we were a child. Let's honor our ancestors by doing better and honor them, because they're rolling over in their graves hearing the fact that Kamala Harris is having Megan Thee Stallion twerk and showing our bodies as these just vessels of lust. That's not cool. These women out here are being told that Donald Trump is like their enemy, when really Kamala Harris opening up the border, look what happened to Laken Riley. She's a woman. She was a woman just like I am. No woman, black or white, wants that to happen to her. All of these people whose kids are dying, the black moms, the white moms, they all cry the same color tears.
Yes.
So let's move past this. Let's vote for Donald Trump so we can all be prosperous again. Let's get out of this fear, this rage, and this anger, because it comes from the devil. So hear me, black folks. Hear me, white folks. We are so much more alike than we are different.
Very smart, very smart. And she's exactly right. We need to get past, and I just said, we need to get past it. It needs to be done. When it comes to elections, it does not need to be about the race. We need to stop that. It needs to be about who can better our country, Democratic or Republican, doesn't matter. Whoever can do it better, let's do it.
We would like to invite you to become a DC Guardian. A Guardian is someone who supports us with a gift of $10 a month. And you will also receive a beautiful DC decal so you can post your support. And also, you will get email updates for Guardians only, plus special discounts on products and functions and conferences to come. Please click on the donate button on our EIOBN.com website to support. Once again, on behalf of the Excellence in Online Broadcasting Network, thank you.
And so play a couple more things here, and then I'm going to answer some of these questions here. Please.
This is my number one favorite of all time. When we were negotiating with the Taliban, while President Trump was still the president, President Trump wanted to get out of Afghanistan, but he wanted a conditions-based withdrawal, meaning that you do what we tell you to do, and then we will start pulling troops back slowly as long as you abide by our rules. It's President Trump and Mike Pompeo, and they are talking to Taliban leadership in the room, and they had one translator in the room. President Trump looked at the Taliban leader and said this: I want to leave Afghanistan, but it's going to be a conditions-based withdrawal. And the translator translated. And he said, if you harm a hair on a single American, I'm going to kill you. And the translator goes, and Trump goes, tell him that. Like,
Yes.
tell him what I said. Reached in his pocket, pulled out a satellite photo of the leader of the Taliban's home and handed it to him.
Shut up.
Got up and walked out the room. Do you know for 18 months not a single American was killed in Afghanistan? That's the definition of strength. That's what I'm talking about. And so you can imagine that kind of sentiment being around the world. If we have an embassy in another country, no one's going to touch it because they're going to be fearful that they'll get a Moab on their head. That's how President Trump rolls.
And that's why the last 4 years has been a joke. It has been a joke. That's why other countries will laugh at us, like we're a joke, because with Biden, we are. I'm going to play you this. This was Trump, and I think this is just something that you need to hear. And the other day we were talking about it and said, a lot of people say, well, I don't understand why things ain't happening. There are bigger things going on than we know. And also there's more ways to destroy a country than to just arrest everyone. This is Donald Trump here.
Listen to Trump talk about Hillary Clinton. Remember, he believes an eye for an eye.
Consider granting clemency for a pardon?
I don't think it's appropriate for me to talk about it. I think it's a tragic story. You want to know the truth. And I felt that with Hillary Clinton, too. With Hillary Clinton, I could have done things to her that would have made your head spin. I thought it was a very bad thing. Take the wife of a president of the United States and put her in jail. And then I see the way they treat me. That's the way it goes. But I was very protective of her. Nobody would understand that, but I was. I think my people understand it. They used to say, lock her up, and I'd say, just relax, please. We won the election. I think it would be I think it would have been horrible for our country and we had her between the hammering of all of the files. And don't forget, she got a subpoena from the United States Congress. And then after getting the subpoena, she destroyed everything that she was supposed to get.
She destroyed it once she got the subpoena. And he said, I could have done things to her that would make your head swim. And somebody that listened to me, well, why didn't he? I don't understand why he said drain the swamp. Yeah, he did say drain the swamp. He did. But here's the thing. You don't know what was done. You don't know. Some of us do, but you don't. I believe that I believe what we need to know, if we trust him to be our president, then we trust him to make the decision that he's made with Hillary. And that decision was not to be her best friend, because he's not. At least not anymore.
Tell you what, from a constitutional standpoint, from any standpoint you look at, they took the presidency away. And people were saying he lost after the debate. He couldn't win. Well, I don't know that that's true necessarily.
I'm talking about Biden. And what's funny that I see is a lot, and you're going to see this, guys. You're going to see a lot of rhetoric. You're going to see a lot of people starting to spread, because here's the thing. They're going to start saying he's worried about all the crowds that's coming to Kamala's campaign rallies. Trump is starting to sweat. That'll be the next thing CNN starts saying. The Trump administration is panicking. They're panicking. Let me tell you something about Trump. He never panics. He thinks, he's smart, and then he reacts. He's not panicking. This guy is Travis for Trump. He says, according to the media, Trump supporters are abandoning him for Kamala. Well, that is total bull snot. About slipped there. That's total bull snot. They're not slipping and running to Kamala. They may leave and go see a concert. That's the thing, is Kamala can't have a successful campaign or a rally, campaign rally, without having to bring in an artist that'll draw a crowd. That's how she's working. She's building her deal based off of, I got to get people in here and I got to make the media see that I'm doing something, but I don't have anybody to come here. So I guess what I'll do is I'll turn around and we'll have to start. It's called marketing, guys. And she'll bring in somebody that, like that trashy lady last week. It was up on stage shaking her butt everywhere. You know, there's just no way. There's no way. And you're going to see it. You're going to see it. You're going to hear about it. You're going to hear about it all. And here's the thing. Better late than never. You ever heard that saying? Breaking news. The Georgia State Election Board just voted 3-2 to override the decision of the Rhino chairman, John Ferverier, or whatever his name is, to authorize the reopening of the investigation into 17,000 missing ballot images over 3,000 duplicate votes counted in the 2020 election in Fulton County. Okay. Thank God they're finally seeing it. But it's day late, dollar short. History will prove of the election. And the other thing is just such a coincidence is Biden's sister is married to Stephen Owens, who owns Dominion Voting Systems. Now, wouldn't that be a conflict of interest? Wouldn't that be a conflict of interest with a presidency? But the news won't tell you that. You have to research this stuff. And of course, the news, yesterday they were trying to, once again, and here's the thing. You would think that these reporters would not want to try to keep building their career off of trying to sidetrack Trump or to sideswipe him or say something smart. Or, he's very good with slithering you up with just his tongue. He can destroy your career with his mouth. And these people still take a chance on doing it. This was yesterday. They was doing interviews, and this girl, she's got to be someone who's trying to further her career.
Oh, give me.
She's saying, are you scared or are you aware of all these, of the amount of people that's going to Harris's rallies? Does it bother you? Let me play this again. Are you afraid of it?
Oh, give me a break. Listen, I had 107,000 people in New Jersey. You didn't report it. I'm so glad you asked. What did she have yesterday? 2,000 people? If I ever had 2,000 people, you'd say my campaign is finished. It's so dishonest, the press. I have 10 times, 20 times, 30 times the crowd size, and they talk about, the enthusiasm. Let me tell you, we have the enthusiasm. The Republican Party
and me as a candidate, but the Republican Party has the enthusiasm.
And it's absolutely true. He could have 200, 300,000 people show up and they say 20 people showed up today, because they're so dishonest. They're just so dishonest. It is just crazy. JD, I told you last week, I wasn't sure about him, but I think he actually did okay with this. Some of the press, and that's all that they're good for, is trying to trip people up. They always report the bad. They always report it, and they give you a 20 or 30-second snippet of something positive, like they've really done something for you. But they're always good about tripping up people, or either lying on the behalf of the other side.
Last question.
JD Vance here.
The blue and yellow there.
Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Janelle James, reporter for Bridge, Michigan. And Michigan has about 91,000 immigrants, which counts for about 1.2% of our population. So what do you say to the people in Michigan who say immigration really isn't that big of a problem here?
Well, I appreciate the question, Janelle. And I'd say that, interestingly, legal immigrants often suffer the most from illegal immigration. If you look at the effect on legal immigrants' wages, if you look at the jobs that they're working in, and if you look at the communities that they're living in that are most affected by the public safety problems caused by illegal immigration, my message to legal immigrants was, one, we love to have you. You're very welcome. And we're happy that you came through the proper channels. But this illegal immigration problem is very often, it falls hardest on legal immigrants more than anybody else. And so my message is, our anti-illegal immigration platform is actually going to make your life better. It's going to make your wages go up. It's going to make public safety in your communities better. Look, I'm married to the daughter of legal immigrants. I do believe in my heart that legal immigration can enrich this country, but not illegal immigration, which is what Kamala Harris has done all over this country. It's made us less safe. It's driven down wages for working Americans, and it's made our communities less prosperous.
Great answer. Great answer. If you want to come to our country, we want you here. But you got to do it legally, because the people that are illegally coming in, they already have on their mind that they're coming here because they get a free ticket. The people that work to get here, they work. W-O-R-K, work. It's not easy, but it's worth it once you get here. And he made a great point. It doesn't make it just unsafe for us as Americans. It makes it unsafe for illegals, or for the legal people that's here, because then what happens? We don't know whether you're legal or not. But if you want to come into our country, God bless you, come into our country, but do it legally. Do it legally. Don't do it any other way. Now, there is other rhetoric going around that, what will happen? There's January. They're saying once Trump is in, they're going to try to disqualify him, and then the worst of the worst is going to happen. And I'll play you this here, and then I'll give you my take on this here.
Donald Trump wins, they will move to disqualify him through Congress, invoke civil war conditions, and tell the Trump hordes that Donald Trump is disqualified and not allowed to be president.
So it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025, to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody and civil war conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff, great protection, simply do not want to do their job and interpret what the great 14th Amendment means. And I'm glad that Sherilyn's creating her new center so we can bring that back to life, even as we're continuing to amend the Constitution, as Professor Hassan has invited us to do.
Amend the Constitution? Did you hear him? Amend the Constitution. We're going to need bodyguards for everybody. Let me tell you what. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. We're going to vote Donald Trump in. and you get in there and you start y'all's bull snot again, and we're going to show you what a patriot's being all about. And do you see what I've been trying to say? This Democratic Party is all about disruption. They're a bunch of babies is what it is. They don't get their way. They lay in the, do you ever see a kid, you go into a store and he's like, laying in the floor of the grocery store, I want this, I want this. That's your Democratic Party. That's your weak ass people is what that is. People that are just babies. Those are your timeout kids. Those kids didn't get their butt busted by their parents. It just blows me away that even these people get the time to even say that on the news or anything. It blows me away. It's absolutely ludicrous, absurd. And I'm gonna tell you this. Do I believe Donald Trump's gonna win? Yeah, I do. Do I believe there's gonna be an uprising? Yeah, I do. Because they don't want him in there. What else do you expect? And let me tell you what, it isn't about Donald Trump. It's about your rights. It's about your life, and it's about what your livelihood. And if you come to take my livelihood, yes, it's going to be a civil war, because I'm not going to sit there and let you do that to me. And by God, I'm not going to sit by and let you go back and mess up the Constitution, because you that can't make a decision whether you're male or female or a cat or a dog. You want to change things because you just want to. No, that's not how it works. And for those of you that support that, shame on you. Shame on you. And it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. If they come in this time and they try to steal this election, I do know we got military that's going to be involved in this. I believe our election is going to be okay. It's when he gets voted in. It's the night that he is declared the winner, which we will be live for all that. I probably have more people in here. It will be live for all that. But it's when he's declared the winner that you're going to see the rats come out. You're going to see reactions come out. And it is not up to us to go out there and fight them. But if they bring that to your door, you end it. You take care of it. And the other thing is this. If they want, let me tell you what. These people that sit behind these cameras or sit behind like I just played you and sit there in this panel and say, we're going to do this and do this and this and this. If they don't think those of us that have served in our country, served in law enforcement, served in any kind of protection, we took an oath to protect that. And I'll be damned if we don't protect it. We'll protect it. And those that are in law enforcement, U.S. Marshals, Secret Service, Capitol Police, whatever you may be in, I don't care if it's Amtrak Police, or National Wildlife. I don't care what it is. If you cannot honor that oath, you need to resign. You need to be done. It's retarded. It's stupid to continue to even take a paycheck for something that you don't really mean. That's the truth. That is the truth right there. They can try to invoke civil war conditions. Do you realize it's all about drama, drama, drama? Demo rats. They demolish things and they're nothing but rats. That's what they are. And it just totally blows my mind. Blows my mind. I'll play you this here and then I'm going to be in and out. Just give me a few minutes here. This would have never happened.
Details on that targeted rocket.
This would have never happened under Trump. What I'm about to play you.
attack on U.S. service members in Iraq. 5 U.S. troops and 2 contractors injured when at least 2 rockets, likely fired by an Iranian-backed militia, hit the Al-Assad airbase, say U.S. officials.
Make no mistake, the United States will not tolerate attacks on our personnel in the region.
With the Middle East on edge, President Biden carefully weighing a response.
Carefully weighing a response. Carefully weighing a response. It goes back to Kamala. They're all the same. We'll have a discussion about this. We'll discuss it. There's nothing to discuss. You hurt our Americans. It becomes eye for an eye. I care about people in other countries, but I care about America. And like I said the other day, we can take all this money that they've been sending to Ukraine and let our country pay for it. Our gas go up, our utilities, everything go up, and still act like we ain't doing crap when our own country is going to hell in a handbasket. Something's wrong. It's time for a change. It's time for a new leader. It's time. We don't want Kamala. Those of you that want Kamala, I say let's send you to another country, send you to a remote island somewhere, and let Kamala rule you. If you love her that much. Our country needs to be united. Our country needs to be united. We have to be united. And to be united, you must expose this stuff. Because people are never going to know unless they're told. And you're never going to really engage and take on what you hear unless you investigate it. I had someone that emailed me about the flag, the American flag. And they said, why is I'm seeing a flag that has 13 stars on it? Why am I seeing that? Is that something bad? No, it's not. The 13-star flag actually, it became the official flag of the United States, actually. I believe it's on June 14th, 1977. And it's when the Continental Congress passed the first Flag Act, actually. The resolution stated that the flag would have 13 alternating red and white horizontal stripes and 13 white stars with a blue canton, representing the 13 colonies that declared independence from Great Britain during the Revolutionary War, and so that's where that came from. So if you see that, I'd be more worried about seeing a Somalian flag fly up, or all that goofy stuff pop up. So we're good there. So if you're worried about the flag, don't be worried about the flag. We're good. Like I said, the only flags that you need to worry about is when the American flag is taken down, another flag has been put up, or they're taking American flag and they're stomping on it or setting it on fire. And think about that. People come in here because they can be free. They can be free in the United States to tear this flag down and to stand on it and to piss on it and do whatever they want and to catch it on fire. I think if you're going to do that, you have the right to take an ass beating. Sorry, guys. I'm just speaking my heart here. I love my country. I think you do too. And I think we've just had enough of it. We've had enough of it. And if you're going to come in and desecrate our country, you need to go home or be dealt with. At this point, we're basically at the end of the game. And that's what this has been. We're at the end of the game. And things are about to really start happening everywhere. That's going to freak the crap out of people. It's going to freak you out. It's coming to the point that you yourself are going to have to back away from trying to wake up even family members to what's going on. Some people, you can never wake them up. Some people are comfortable just in the sleep because they're in a relaxed state. They don't have to fight. They're doing, oh, whatever happens, happens. It's the Lord's will. It's this. They're comfortable asleep, and they are where exactly they want to be. And unfortunately, it's when the crap actually hits the fan. They look around and they go, well, why didn't somebody say something to me? I'm going over 7 minutes here, but it's okay. They're saying, why didn't someone say something to me? I didn't know that was going on. No, you knew it was going on, but you turned a deaf ear. There comes a time when you have to save yourself and worry about yourself versus trying to worry about everybody else. We're almost to that point, guys. And when you start seeing everything go crazy, and we're about to see it, don't freak out. And we're almost to that point where it's time to stop trying to wake up other people to what's going on in our country. It's time. It's almost there. Because you can worry about someone else's salvation so much that you lose your own. You can worry about someone else, needing information that you totally lose out. The Bible even says that, seek out your own salvation with fear and trembling. It means worry about yourself. And we're to that point to where it's time to worry about yourself. And it's tough time in history. But I want to thank you so much for listening today. We've had a great amount of people on board today. I'll be back tonight with probably about a half-hour snippet of something that I'm going to throw out there. It's very powerful, very, very, very powerful. Be on at 8:30 with that. And if you have any questions, you can email them at dc@eiobn.com. If you haven't went to the website, go check the website out, eiobn.com. And there's places on there where you can donate. If you'd like to donate, we greatly appreciate it. It helps us do what we're doing here, keeps us paying the electric bill, and you see the equipment that's going on, those of you on YouTube. And we're updating more. We're trying to get into where we have a video switcher to where you can actually see everything that we're doing, even with the videos. So anyways, with that being said, I want you guys to have a great weekend. If I don't catch you tonight, I'll catch you Monday. And, keep your head up and just trust God.